Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2024, and we are seeing a sell-off in the stock market right now. So let's get right into the charts. Starting off by looking at the Dow Jones, we're seeing markets off a couple days from their all-time high now, and not to mention the NASDAQ 100 still has not made a new all-time high. So we are in this intense period of geocosmic activity once again. We did have Venus move into the sign of Sagittarius last week, and we began this week. Well, actually, it was yesterday. The sun formed a square to Pluto, the first day of Scorpio season. So, kicking off this very intense season of fall in a very appropriate manner. But, looking ahead to next week, we have Mars trine Neptune on the 28th, and the same day is Venus square Saturn. And that second signature really has my attention because one of the rules we like to use here at MMA is that you want to look at a market forming a low going into a hard aspect between Venus and Saturn. And we're seeing, stocks come down from their highs. And like I said, the NASDAQ still has not made a new all-time high since July, which is a concern. And you're seeing this weakness even come from the semiconductor sector, which is a very important sector for the market, given its tendency to act as a leading indicator. So something to definitely keep an eye on. We are seeing interest rates come back higher. You did see the 30-year mortgage rate creep back above 7%. However, I think we are looking at a potential intermediate term cycle low forming here, and that you will eventually probably see interest rates come back lower. The Fed is cutting rates. The next rate cut is set to happen on the 7th of November, a couple of days after the election. But, some of our cycle models are pointing to a potential high of significance forming around the election and in the stock market. So something to keep an eye on here as we move forward into election season. Bonds selling off, and it is pushing the US dollar higher, which did rally to its highest level against the Japanese yen since the end of July, all but confirming a long-term cycle was complete in September. The euro continues to lose value. I mean, this is a pretty significant sell-off, a 5-cent drop in the euro in not even a month. So this is a pretty substantial sell-off. Money rushing back into the dollar. Higher interest rates are definitely incentivizing that. But we are due for a temporary bottom in this, and you may see the dollar come back up, or I should say come back off its highs here, the euro come back off its lows. Venus rules currencies, Venus squaring Saturn. Don't be surprised if there is a reversal here. USO, seeing a bit of selling here. And I'm not ruling out the possibility of another break lower in the energy market. So, with Mars trine Pluto coming up, that could lead to another leg lower. A bit of ambiguity here when it comes to the primary cycle labeling. I wouldn't be surprised if this low that we had here in September was a contracted primary cycle bottom in energy, but definitely leaving the door open for some additional weakness. Let's take a look at gold and silver. Gold hit another new all-time high yesterday, seeing some profit taking today. But you take a look at silver. This has been the big runner. You saw silver run up above $35 an ounce. We've been scaling onto the long positions there in the daily report. It's been a very good trade, but we are in the final phase of one of the cycles in silver, so don't be surprised if you see a sustained sell-off in the coming weeks in precious metals. But I do think that the trend is higher, and you will see it continue up into next year. And now in Bitcoin and Ethereum, you are seeing some selling today. Bitcoin at the lows of the day. Ethereum did make a higher high here, which was pretty important with respect to its trend. So you do have a higher high and a higher low, but you are seeing some substantial selling today. But similar story here, going into Venus square Saturn next week. Be on the lookout for another low to form here. I think that the trend is still very much higher, but probably going to see a little bit more of selling pressure in the immediate term. We've been talking about the uranium sector and how that could be important when considering the trine signature between Uranus and Pluto that's coming next year. You're going to have both those planets moving into air signs, Uranus into Gemini, Pluto into Aquarius. Pluto moves into Aquarius in less than a month now, but something to keep an eye on. I think it ties into the artificial intelligence trade as well. So a really interesting thing unfolding in that sector. But that's all that I wanted to cover with you this week. So be on the lookout. Next week, we also have a lot of important economic data. We are in the middle of earnings season for stocks as well. So next week, we're back to inflation data, back to employment data, earnings season, all in this intense period of geocosmic activity. Could be a volatile time. And of course, the presidential election less than 2 weeks away here in the United States. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and like the video if you enjoyed it. We do have guests coming up for you in the near term. But that's all for now. You know where to find us, www.mmacycles.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back same time, same place next week.